Mass Effect Andromeda, the midquel sequel that starts before the events of Mass Effect 2, but spends 600 years desperately fleeing the Milky Way and any of those pesky decisions that Shepard made.
But you have to choose.
So be it. Holy shit.
No worries, we're in Andromeda now! And we've got 7 perfect, habitable golden worlds that you're responsible for building and repopulating, with 4 arcs filled with the best and brightest species the Milky Way has to offer. So, as you might expect from this premise, Mass Effect Andromeda is actually a city builder farm simulator with a strong emphasis on relationships. What? That's not what it's about? What is it then? Oh shit. All the golden worlds are uninhabitable, none of the other arcs ever showed up, there's some space gunk that wrecks your shit all over the place, all the leaders of the initiative are dead, and there's a hostile alien race that enjoys killing you on sight.
It's really gonna be something, isn't it?
I haven't even shown you the best part.
It's a good thing that things start off exciting, since you're going to spend most of the next 60 to 80 hours on filler quests, getting these dead worlds ready for condos and strip malls. Since we're borrowing pretty liberally from Mass Effect 1, there is of course super advanced technology that can fix all of your problems left behind by Sudoku-loving aliens. Your primary goal throughout the game is to flip the switch on the world fixers that only you can interact with. Well, also your sister, but she's in a convenient game-long coma. You can't spell lazy writing without coma. Don't forget to hit the Found Settlement button so you can start populating the new galaxy. This is super exciting, the first time, for about 10 minutes. Then you realize there's nothing to do in this settlement. The rest of the game can kind of feel like a knockoff brand of the other games at times. You are the space soldier diplomat chosen one messiah who enjoys banging blue aliens and collecting model starships, who flies around on the totally not Normandy while docking at the totally not Citadel, all while battling the totally not Collectors with the help of totally not Edie. Speaking of not Edie, let's talk about Sam for just a minute here. Sam solves all of Ryder's problems. All of Ryder's problems. He explains everything. He's central to the plot, but holy shit is he boring.
Unknown. Though it appears related to the lockdown, an in-depth study may reveal its purpose.
When Mass Effect 3 came around, Edie got a smoking hot robot body. With the way things are going, when Mass Effect Andromeda 2, A Chamber of Secrets comes out, Sam will get his body, but it's gonna be a box.
With some wheels on it?
No, it's just a box. Right away, you'll pick up the BioWare party of characters with attitude. Most of the party's great, with appealing personalities, good voice acting, and interesting stories. Except for the humans, they suck.
And after 2 years and a dozen suspensions, I took a lateral promotion out of the force.
But hey, it's Mass Effect, what are you gonna do? In fact, the best parts of the game are when you get to go on character-focused loyalty missions. And I did enjoy the missions that focused on the plot.
Except I am gonna fuck your shit up. How's that for great?
Without giving too much away, the finale was one of the best that Mass Effect has to offer. Man, can you imagine if pretty much the whole game were these character and plot-focused missions? That'd be a great game. Instead, most of the game is spent on filler, basically busy work for random NPCs. Let's be honest, I'd rather play a 35 to 40 hour great game than a 70 hour okay game anytime. Get your shit straight, BioWare, we're not paying you by the minute here. It's a damn shame then that this game has some of the worst facial animation you'll ever see. Now, I'm not going to say a whole lot about this since, let's be real, if you're watching this you probably already know how bad it is. But I also can't pretend that it's not a problem. It is. It's bad. It's really bad. At all points of the game, any character moments, any significant plot development is constantly undermined by paralyzed, vacant, slightly startled expressions. Like everyone just got finished a round of Botox, but they're all pretty unhappy about it. But at least these weird robots pretending to be people call you by your first name.
Scott.
It was always really weird in previous Mass Effect games when you just got done making sweet, passionate love to the alien girl of your dreams, and you look her in the eye and you say, "You do know my name is John, right?"
I love you, Shepard.
John Shepard. Jesus, Liara, I thought we had something special. If that wasn't enough, I ran into so many bugs. We're not just talking the small cutesy bugs. We're talking NPCs floating in the air, numerous quests not completing or showing up to begin with. I've been locked in rooms because the doors wouldn't open. I've been clipped behind the environment, under the environment. I've had enemies become untargetable to abilities that require a target. Good on the devs for having a bunch of autosave files because I sure as hell had to use them a lot.
Godspeed, Pathfinder.
Andromeda itself is a bit of a dud. What isn't copy-pasted from previous Mass Effect games feels expansive but empty. Now I know what you're thinking. Randy, the whole premise of Andromeda is that you're exploring dead planets that can't support life or cultures. You can't expect cool things to be there. That doesn't change the fact that you spend way too many hours driving around deserts, or deserts with mountains, or deserts with acidic pools, or Arctic deserts, because those are a thing. But wait, I mentioned that your goal was to turn on the planet fixer and get these places livable. Oh, once you flip that switch, a cascade of verdant flora springs to life, life-giving water geysers to the surface and collects in pools. Fauna of all shapes and sizes populate the empty, dead areas and all shit, that's Okami. Sorry, in Andromeda, nothing happens. Nothing changes. Except that now things have a slightly different color tint, and I now have to use SPF 500 instead of SPF 5000. It just feels like a lot of the pieces in the game don't quite live up to their full potential or weren't really well thought out. Like the Nomad. You get a cool car, it looks awesome, it handles a lot better than the previous vehicles, but you don't do anything with it other than travel from point A to point B. It might as well be space Uber. Unlike the Mako and the Hammerhead, it doesn't even have a gun, which seems like a pretty big oversight when the only direction you're heading in is toward people that want to kill you. Similarly, you have shit all to do in the actual settlements. When I built my first settlement, they gave me a choice, scientific or military. I thought, hey, now we're getting somewhere, but that's the most interesting choice you'll ever make. Which is to say, it's the only choice you'll ever make for any of the settlements that you build. I thought I was gonna dethaw NPCs and assign them to the most appropriate roles, choose between breeding space llamas or space cows. I thought I'd bribe the local constabulary so that I could establish a black market. Instead, you just wander around the same box town in every planet in the galaxy. Same goes for the alien species in this game. One of the biggest blows I felt early on was that the Quarians, along with half the original species from the other games, are late.
We had hoped Quarians would be part of the first wave, but before departure in 2185, we got word they had technical problems with their ship.
You might think this is because they're going to introduce so many new species in this brand new galaxy that bringing all the other ones would have been overwhelming. But no, there's only two new races. One whose interactions end with shooting them in the face, and the other whose interactions you wish would end with shooting them in the face so that at least their face would look slightly different than the dude standing next to him.
Let's move! Move!
One of the first things you'll notice is that Ryder has these cool new jump jets. Gone are the days of ladders and hauling yourself up ledges. You can jet your way forward, backward, side to side. You can pretty much go anywhere. What were you doing before? Rolling around on the floor like a dog? Shepard's so lame. Aside from adding a ton of mobility, Mass Effect Andromeda has the best combat featured in a Mass Effect game yet. The first and most obvious change is that static classes, gone. You can put points into any ability, equip any weapon, any armor at any time. You don't pick classes anymore, now you switch between profiles, which are exactly like classes, but you can switch them whenever you want. So if you find the need to be a sniper for a specific fight, you can get boosted headshot damage and the ability to see enemies through walls through your scope. You can also have favorite setups to switch through. I mostly switch between a short-range melee setup and a long-range sniper drone setup for when shit hit the fan. The best part was that thanks to all these new melee options, I was finally able to realize my dreams of being a space cop diplomat who can leap into battle with my psychic space powers and cut down enemies with my space sword.
You made a Jedi.
A Jedi that can snipe people's heads off.
Okay. Yes. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Maybe more like optimism. Confidence? You'll get there.
By the way, I don't know if you actually like BioWare parties, because if you don't, you are in for a treat, because you don't do anything with this party. You don't change their weapons, you don't use their abilities, you don't even get to change them into their little friendship outfits anymore.
I'll deploy your people carefully, Kandros.
Appreciate that, Ryder. But trust me, Apex can handle themselves.
There's also this little console that lets you do things called Apex missions. Apex is basically a phone game. In fact, it is actually a phone game. You send random dudes out on 2 to 5 hour missions to get some stuff. Some Apex missions will even give you the option of subbing in for your Apex team to play the missions in... Oh wait, what? There's multiplayer? Oh shit, yeah, there's multiplayer. You pick a character with only a handful of abilities compared to like the 45 that Ryder can get. Then you go in and kill waves of AI enemies, and sometimes you have the thrilling objective like stand here, stand in a few places, press this button. Let's be real, this is really here just to get you to spend money in the cash shop so that you can avoid that extremely tedious grind to unlock new classes. It is literally the same thing as the multiplayer from Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition. In fact, I'm sensing a trend. This is especially terrible in Andromeda since the combat system has been improved so much, seriously. After the ability to build and switch profiles on the fly with custom-made equipment, going back to niche character archetypes feels cheap. Feels like you're the guy Ryder sends out to do his missions for him. It really shows how little effort was put into the multiplayer, outside of giving you shit to grind so that you can spend more money, of course. That's not the kind of grinding I like to do in my Mass Effect. Moving.
Speaking of, time for another round. Anyone for a Baron's Jaw? Or a euphemistically delicious?
Wait, lesson.
This game ends up feeling like you went to your favorite high-end steakhouse, you ordered a big, juicy, medium-rare T-bone Mass Effect special, and somehow your order got mixed up for a chicken breast and a shit ton of breadsticks and a ketchup packet. Sure, the main course is okay, but there's too much filler to make it passable. Also, sometimes the breadsticks fall through the table. I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Baby, thank you. Listen, no heart.
Oh, fuck! Finally beat you to the punch.
Now, I know what some of you are gonna type. Randy, man, you're out of line. Some of those things you talked about got fixed in an awesome patch a few weeks after release. Yeah, man, it was a great patch. Faces already look way better, a few glitches seem fixed, but there's a few reasons most of the review was left unchanged. I say most since we did actually cut a few lines about how annoying the unskippable cutscenes going between planets were. The first reason, I just didn't feel like changing anything. By the time the patch came out, our review was written, voiced, and mostly finished being edited, so I figured, fuck it, I'll just make a note at the end. The second and more serious reason, the patched game may be a better game. A game many of you would rather play, and so would I, but it's not the game that I played. I spent 2 weeks and well over 80 hours playing this game. This game. One day, maybe a year or so from now, after a few patches and some inevitable DLC, I'll come back to Andromeda for my New Game Plus. But for now, I can only speak to the quality of the game that I played. This game. Thanks for watching.